What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we have an unboxing and first impressions on the New Balance Furon V8. Now this is the new generation. I actually didn't take a look at the New Balance Furon V7 Plus. I only had the V7 just because it was like minimal changes. They didn't really change a lot. But this time around with the V8, they did change quite a few stuff. So we're gonna check it out today. Here's the tag, and I got this in the purple colorway, which is really nice in person. I actually really like the way these look in photos, but in person they just look way better. You guys can see it has some silver, some orange, and this like purple color, and it just looks fantastic in my opinion. I really like the combination of colors, but this one looks more of a metallic purple kind of, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it looks very nice. Let me know what you guys think of this colorway down below in the comments. Alright, so the New Balance Furon V8, like I said, they make a few changes here and there. For the most part, the upper material is the same. So I guess we'll start there. It still features a hypo knit upper, which is very soft, very pliable, very sock-like. It's probably one of the best knitted uppers on the market right now, like in terms of how soft and sock-like it feels. Like this is amazing. Like the V7 was good. I heard that the V7 Plus, they updated it and made it softer, and this is just extremely soft. You guys can see like how soft it is. It's really nice. Also, the upper isn't overly like thin. It does have some thickness to it compared to other, like, I guess, speed boots on the market. It's like not the thinnest upper. It just feels more of a thicker knit compared to like a thin synthetic, but I still believe it's gonna have a nice touch on the ball. Something that they did remove was kind of this canopy that they did have, where it was kind of a lace cover, or not a lace cover, but it did cover like this part of the foot. And so they removed it, and you still have an off-center lacing system, but it's not all the way to the side like in the V7 that was kind of to the extreme. So this time around it still is pretty shallow, so you might not feel like a super locked in sensation when tying your cleats, just because it's only in this area of the foot and not so much here in this like toe box area, which I guess can be annoying, just because sometimes I do want like a little bit more like pull here in this area of the foot. So because of the off-center lacing system, you do get a really nice clean striking area, and you guys can see right here there is some texture here. It's like kind of bumps. They don't really push out all that much, but you do feel it in the hand. So I don't think it's going to provide too much grip, or at least it's not going to be noticeable in my opinion. Here the knit feels pretty good, nice and stretchy. It is kind of open, so obviously water will get through. And the heel feels nice and padded. You guys can see there is a good amount of padding here. And with the V7, I did get a pressure point here on the top. I did get a little bit of a blister, so hopefully this is better. And I think it will, because you guys can see here, it's way softer here in the heel. For me, like, the heel was a little bit of an issue with the V7, which is why I didn't wear it all that much. But this time around, the heel is very soft. There is like a cutout here with the internal heel counter, and so you guys can see the structure right here, and then there's just like an open spot here just to make it more comfortable. And hopefully that does kind of solve my heel issues with the Furon. So the shape overall does have more of a wider shape, but once on feet, they do have, at least for me, because I do have a wider foot, they are pretty snug here in the midfoot, especially like this area right here where I just don't get enough stretch. The toe box is kind of pointy, which I'm not in love with. I wish it was just a little bit rounder, and because it is pointy, I do have just a little bit of space. I did go half size up just because I feel like if I went to the size, it would just be way too tight in the midfoot, and it would just be way too like tight here in the toe box, just because it is like a narrow toe box. So for me, going half size is the right call. It just feels a little bit more comfortable, and I just have a little bit of space here in the toe box, which honestly I don't mind that much. Usually I do have, with my cleats, I do have a little bit of space, just because I don't like my toes all the way to the edge of the boot. So for me, that's fine. Like I said, the midfoot does feel kind of tight, but there is a wide foot version of this boot. So if you do have an extremely wide foot, I would recommend getting those, just because it's going to feel more comfortable in the midfoot. This does have a snug fit. So here the sole plate did get an update, and here in the midfoot it's nice and stiff. There isn't really any bending point, as you guys can see. In the forefoot, it still feels pretty responsive and like stiff and snappy. This feels a little bit more responsive, more stiff compared to the V7. I found with that sole plate, after a while it did get a little bit more flexible, so hopefully this feels better long term. And in terms of like responsiveness, yeah, it's very, very snappy. In terms of the stud pattern, we no longer get those chevron studs. Instead, we get these like T-shaped studs, which are still pretty aggressive. They are kind of long, kind of the same length as the previous studs. And actually here we do get an extra stud, which is called their speed control stud, which I'm not exactly sure what it is. I guess it's supposed to help when you decelerate, just to like, I guess, stop just because it's facing like the other way. So I guess it's supposed to help with that. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure. And then we have that sticker right there that, this was gonna wear off. So overall, the New Balance Furon V8 makes some nice improvements. Obviously, I don't know how these perform. I will be doing a playtest, so stay tuned for that. I guess what I'm most worried about is the lockdown, just because its upper is just very soft, and so I feel like there won't be enough lockdown. And also because the lacing system is so shallow, you can't really adjust or get more tension here on this part of the foot. And because of that, I feel like there might be movement here in like this area of the foot. But yeah, I'm super excited to give these a try. If you guys have any questions on these boots, just let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified for future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.